Many years ago, I was a software engineer and I had gotten laid off from my job. And that was a common thing in software engineering. But the thing is, what had occurred at that time was businesses had gone to computer screening of resumes, and I had no college degree at the time. And I could not get a job back in computers or technology or any of that because that was all self-taught. I was doing soul searching at the time. And I decided to go back to college to get some degrees, turned into 3. I started reading and realized that I had ADHD. Yeah, so I got diagnosed, and it was a game changer for me. I went over, I first started taking Adderall for it, and it helped tremendously. With that, I could focus finally. You know what I mean? I was always distracted. I thought it was normal to be that way, and you could never get anything done. The Adderall fixed that for me. I could focus nice and calm, not so jittery, and it was great. Then I had a heart attack. Adderall and all these ADHD meds, they speed up your heart, so the doctor ordered me to stop taking them. What was I going to do? I was in the middle of school, I'm trying to work, I'm trying to get all this, and I can't focus. It was worse than it was before. So what I finally did is I finally started researching and coming up and finding techniques that I used to focus, to work, to get my degrees, and to basically get through life and live the awesome life that I do now. I finished my doctoral degree about 6 months before COVID. And I decided, hey, I can take these techniques and help others with them. And that's what I started doing, first with remote workers and now entrepreneurs. Our brains work differently. And here's the thing. The big thing is they work differently. They're not deficient. There's nothing bad about it. That's the first step. And we're easily distracted. For instance, I could be working on something, and part of the things I have to do as part of my work is I'm on social media, which is the scourge of focus. So I'll sit there and I'll see something that I find very interesting on the social media, and my attention will go on that, and before I know it, it'll be 2 hours will have passed. And I got to get back there. Now here's the kicker I'm doing specifically ADHD and neurodivergent. It's like, people sit there, they make it wrong. They try and go, oh, I need to focus more, and try and, oh, if I only focus and like that. The thing is, we cannot focus for long. That's the thing. It has to do it. If we try to focus on being focused, then we're not focusing on the task that we need to be focusing on. We're focusing on being focused. It's a catch-22.
Yes.
So my whole thing is not stuff. It's with brain wires, don't fight City Hall. That's how our brain is developed. Okay, we can't stay focused. Let's develop ways to put our focus back. There's also something we can do called hyperfocus, where I know if I can get really interested in something, I can hyperfocus on it. And it's like setting up the conditions where we can hyperfocus. So our brains kick into that mode. And also, when our focus goes out, it's just no big deal. Put the focus back on. And by doing that enough times and building that muscle, you can go over and put your focus back on what you need to focus on, and it just happens. Whenever it happens, you just do it. And the thing is, it's a stigma. We don't want people to think, and I'm just like going over, our brains aren't quite right. The boy ain't right. Like we don't. It's not something we want to do. It's embarrassing. That's why one of the things I do is I'm also working on destigmatizing it, and I do that. I do a comedy routine I do stand-up comedy. And I'll go over and I'll get on stage there and I'll start making jokes about it, about the ADHD and neurodivergence, and I will end up the set of showing how it is a superpower, and how creative we are, and how we can utilize this. And basically, the world needs us.
I agree.
Yeah, and we got to start thinking that way. The world needs us. It's specifically on ADHD. It's not a deficit. It's not a disorder. I've actually rebranded it. It's accelerated dynamic hyperdrive.
That's fascinating.
Your focus is going to go out. It's going to come in. It's going to go out. It's not a habit. It's not a matter of staying in focus and doing it. It's a matter of putting your focus back in. And there's various ways of doing it. And like the Pomodoro system is one. I'm sure some of the people in the audience are aware of that. And one of the first things I've narrowed it down, I've come up with an acronym, of course, a fancy schmancy acronym. MBA stands for Mindset, Behavior, Accountability. And the first step is this mindset. We've been told, just like we've been told by our teachers, our parents, well-meaning people, that there's something wrong, that we're lazy, we're stupid, we're not motivated. And none of that is true. It's just some mentor of some kind, misguided attempt at helping you. And it's not that they were a bad person out to screw you up, but they were trying to help you deal with this condition. But it didn't work. And that's just like the first thing is the forgiveness of them and the realization and forgiveness and developing the mindset, hey, this is cool. Mm-hmm. And you do that and you just leave it at that. People just continue on with their regular habits. Habits are something it's a habit. We all know how hard it is to break a habit. It took me 20 years to quit smoking. Some of that was addiction, some of it habits. And habits are hard to break, and you just got to go through and you got to identify the habits that you want to change and start changing them. And for that, you need accountability. And with accountability, you have a coach or a partner, and you check in, did you do this? Yes, great. No, oh, what happened? Boom. And you do stuff, are you going to do it? Are you not going to do it? Then after you didn't do it, or if you did do it, yeah, I did this. What's the next action? And you got to realize there is no such thing as failure. There's only taking the next action. That's what you do. If you take an action, you get the intended result. Then the next thing is you take the next action to get the next result. You don't get the intended result. Where am I at now? What's the next action I need to take? So it's just action. No failure involved there. You can mention organization, and space organization is a thing. And here's something. This is do as I say, not as I do, because it's something I personally have a hard time with. And when I say organize, I mean organize so you can find stuff and you're not spending hours looking for something. Meanwhile, your whole day was spent looking for something.
Yes.
My office here looks like a mess, but I can find everything in a second like that because it's all around me. I know I have my tools. And then there's just like environments, like door to my office. Right now it's shut, probably because it's 4 a.m. and my wife is sleeping in the other room. But and I have my door shut. I usually do that when I'm working. I'm on it. One of pets is another thing when working at home. Another reason I have my door shut here into my office is my cat. I have a cat. Her name is Lucy. She loves to come in and plop herself in front of the video and just say hi to everybody. And it's great. I love my cat, but it's distracting. So I have ways to deal with that and anticipating what is going to distract you and get it out of there. There's apps you can get that will limit your time on social media that you can spend. I do that using calendar apps. In continuing, here's the thing: people use calendar apps, and especially me, I'm like this, and I fail at it. And the thing is, remember, there's no such thing as failure. So there's the next action. Got to keep doing it. That's boom. It's set on my calendar to do project A. I played a game online. That's what happened. When can I schedule in the time to do project A? Remember, you cannot change the past. You may as well just forgive yourself and move forward. Written communication is actually easier than spoken communication because you're sending an email there. You can type up the email and just what you like, and then you can look over it before you send it and edit it. And have a second set of eyes on it. I also use a lot of AI type stuff. I'll sometimes do an email and I'll put it into Chat GPT, and I'll just say, okay, make this, soften this a little bit like that. Because I'm very direct in my communication. I know with my wife will go to me, Jeff, it's 10 o'clock. And I'll look at my watch and I go, no, it's not. It's 9:59. And it drives her nuts. She'll be like, stop correcting me. And I'll be like, they're sorry. This just like the spoken stuff. And I'm like there in my mind, yeah, it's 9:59. What is she complaining about? Divert your mind into neurotypical language. But a lot of times that isn't, you don't have that. You're in the conversation with somebody at the spot. You got to answer on the spot. And it takes practice and it takes asking for forgiveness. You go over, you just go and you say it. If it comes across, you got to see the cue. And you got to go over and go, oh, I'm sorry. Did I say something wrong or something like that? Trying to be appropriate to the conversation. And here's the thing, you're going to make mistakes. And the only thing you can do is just move on from your mistakes. Forgive yourself, ask forgiveness, make amends if you need to, and then move on. Mistakes, they happen, even to the neurotypical. They make mistakes too. It's like neurodivergent. It means different. We're different from each other as well from the neurotypical. You could have somebody, a non-verbal, somebody with autism. That person needs different support than me with ADHD in the workplace. I did work in the school. I did teaching for special needs students when I was in grad school. This one student, non-verbally autism, I go over it. Everybody thought he was below learning level. I walked by him one day when he's on the computer and he doesn't notice. And I notice he's writing the story that's like on par with Stephen King or Mark Twain, really good. And he like sees me behind him, finally turns off the screen like he doesn't want anybody to know. That's what he is. That's like an example. You have this brilliant person, and if somebody didn't give him individual attention, nobody would know that. You have this another story I heard of this once, this was several years ago, of this girl with autism in Canada, and people thought she was intellectually disabled. And she turned out, and one day she had a teacher who handed her a computer that opened up her communication things, and it turns out she was like a genius who didn't have the power of speech. And like those people, the world could be deprived of that genius if people didn't take the time to make accommodations for her. You look at all the great people in our society who've been neurodivergent. People like Greta Thunberg, Steve Jobs, and Elon Musk. I mean, you may disagree with Elon, but he's made a difference in the world, and he has challenges from his. A lot of them, he'll blurt something out, like typical neurodivergent behavior, and he does that. I laugh because I know where he's coming from, and other people are like, outrageous. He said that, and outraged. No, he wasn't trying to mess anybody up. He's just neurodivergent. ADHD Success Mastery Program. It's a 3-month program. Mm-hmm. I go over. I was talking about mindset, behavior, accountability, MBA. We go on there, we talk about it, I give exercises on mindset, handling like the limiting beliefs, meditations, affirmations, that stuff. Then we start working on the behaviors that one needs to adapt to be successful. And then the accountability, okay? And we put in the accountability. That is one program I have. And that's the main one. Then I also have a membership, $9.99 a month. And then I also have the Get in Focus and Skyrocket Your Productivity workshop. Which is a short workshop. Right now, it's in beta. So while it's in beta, it's free. It's not going to be free for long. It's going to be free for another few weeks. And that one is it's basically like a workshop. Never give up on your goals. You may need to change your strategy, but don't give up on it. You can do it. And you have the power to change the world. Remember, your neurodivergence is a superpower, even though sometimes you may not just feel that way always.